Hello friends, welcome to the platform of Darshanik. This is Akshay Kadam. So guys, today on this platform of Darshanik, I am going to discuss with you one important part from Indian history, that is ancient medieval part of Indian history. So today's topic guys is important inscriptions in Indian history. So this topic guys will be of great help to you considering the prelims examination. So in this part I am going to cover very important inscriptions, most important inscription of the Indian ancient and medieval history. So guys, and while discussing these inscriptions, you must have read about this inscription in many books of Indian history or in your classroom coaching. But guys, while teaching this part, I am going to focus on those areas, or I am going to give you such a prelim ke facts which will be of great help, which you will ignore while reading, or you will not focus on those facts. Yeah, mostly these facts remain unnoticed, but they are very significant considering these inscriptions and their relation with Indian history. So let's discuss such important inscriptions and some unique points about those instructions. So before that guys, let me tell you that I teach history for the prelims of UPSC and state civil service exams, as well as ethics and essay for UPSC mains examination. And soon on my platform I will be launching comprehensive course of history, which will be very cheaply available, very in a low cost module form, okay, for ancient, medieval, modern Indian history, as well as world history and art, architecture, etc. So stay tuned for that. And my essay and ethics courses are already live, so do enroll for that. And you can check my other videos regarding strategy or some module or sample lectures that I have uploaded regarding essay and ethics, and also check out my current affairs shorts. Okay, that will be of great help for your prelims preparation. So let's begin this discussion of inscription in history. And so first inscription guys that I wanted to start discussion with, as we know, okay, the Ashokan's inscriptions. Now guys, these Ashokan inscriptions we all know are found in a pillar form or in a major, minor and pillar or rock inscriptions. Mostly you will observe that in South India most of the inscriptions, okay, are rock inscriptions, minor or major rock inscriptions. Pillar inscriptions are not found in South India, and such a points you just have to observe and note down. And guys, James Prinsep, as we know, was the first person to decipher Ashokan Edicts. Now guys, while James Prinsep was deciphering this Ashokan Edicts, at most of these inscriptions it was mentioned, or Ashoka was mentioned as Devam Piyadasi. And initially it was thought that this was the name of one Sri Lankan king and these inscriptions belonged to him. But later on, okay, there was one guy appointed in Sri Lanka, British colonial officer, and he found one Pali script, a Pali manuscript on I guess copper, on some papers. It was very much broken, and so he copied that Pali script as it is, and he sent that to James Prinsep, who was in India. And that guy, as you know, is a George Turner. So this name you remember, George Turner. And when he sent this Pali manuscript that he found in Sri Lanka to Ashoka, to James Prinsep, then in that script it was become clear that it was easy to decipher now that this Devam Piyadasi was no one but the great Mauryan king Ashoka. It was his name, because on that script, okay, both the names were present. And later on, many few inscriptions, maybe Ashoka ka name as well as Devam Piyadasi both appeared parallelly, and this Pali script helped us one way, James Prinsep, to understand it. So the edicts in Brahmi script mentioned King Devam Priyadasi, which Prinsep initially assumed was a Sri Lankan king. But he was then able to associate this title with Ashoka on the basis of Pali manuscript from Sri Lanka communicated to him by George Turner. So this important fact you should know, and with this help of this Pali manuscript found in Sri Lanka, okay, this issue got settled, and now James Prinsep could easily correlate history by reading those Ashokan pillar and rock inscriptions. Now guys, these inscriptions language, as we know, largely language is in mainland India, Prakrit language or Magadhi Prakrit, the dialect of Prakrit that was being spoken in Patliputra and in that region of Magad. And in northwest region, okay, we find the different language. Now script in North India is a Brahmi script, while in northwest region we find the Kharoshti script. So Brahmi script is written from left to right, Kharoshti is written from right to left, just like Urdu. Okay, while in northwest, guys, okay, we also find come across inscriptions of Ashoka around Kandahar in that region in a Greek language also. And so these language points you should know. So inscriptions were composed in the Prakrit language, Magdi Prakrit, dialect of Prakrit in Magad, and written in the Brahmi script throughout the greater part of empire. But in northwestern part they appear in Kharoshti script. Okay, so Kharoshti script, and here in India in Brahmi script, and in Kandahar in Afghanistan they were written in Aramaic, in Greek script or in Greek language. Okay, so language is Aramaic in Greek script and in Greek language. So remember this, only near Kandahar we find them in this Greek language and Greek script. Now uske baad, guys, most of these Ashokan inscriptions, okay, were created on trade routes, or where people settlements are there, at the gates of the people settlement, at the gate of some village, etc. So guys, initially, okay, all pillars that were all inscriptions that were written initially, they were written on the rock surfaces, conveniently placed rock surfaces. But later part mein, the inscriptions that we find, okay, we generally find them on a pillars. Now guys, Ashoka ke pillars, South India mein we get lot of granite basalt, but north mein, guys, okay, such a hard rock is not there, sedimentary rock is there. So most of the pillars pe, the rocks that has been used, okay, was excavated from the sites near Chunar, near Varanasi. So these 2-3 points you should know, that in the earlier half of his reign, edicts were inscribed on conveniently located rock surfaces and were distributed in the areas of public settlement, trade routes where people could easily read them. Okay, अब उसमें भी they have been classified as major and minor rock inscriptions. Now why major, minor, what they cover, I will discuss separately on next slide. And in the later part, understand, in later part of his reign, inscriptions were on the well polished monolithic pillars. So earlier reign में they were mostly on a mostly written on rocks, rock inscriptions they are called. Later part of his reign, Ashoka made inscription on pillar. And that pillars mean North India made the monolithic pillar, one single pillar on which they were written. Now this idea of writing inscriptions or giving some message on monolithic pillar, okay, was taken not from Greeks, it was taken from Persian invaders. So Persia mein this idea was prevalent. So Kharoshti script and this monolithic pillar art, both were taken when this Persian people invaded India, and with that, with their invasion came this Kharoshti script and this idea of monolithic pillar inscriptions, giving message on a monolithic pillar. And these pillars ka jo stone hai, guys, is only we find in North India near Chunar, near Varanasi. And each edict surmounted with the finely sculpted animal capital. So ये जो animal capital है उस पे अशोका के inscription पे, where there are 4 animals, 4 lions facing in 4 direction, and along with that, okay, we have elephant, we have a horse, again a lion and a bull. So these 4 animals are also there on those inscriptions. Now this point you must be knowing. But along with that, guys, you should know that Ashoka, on this inscription, Ashoka's name, okay, we only find on 4 inscriptions. Okay, in all other inscription, Ashoka is referred as Devam Priyadasi, but mostly Ashoka or Ranya Ashok, Raya Ashok, this name along with the Priyadasi, okay, we find at 4 locations. So Ashoka uses his name only in 4 of these places. So namely Maski, where we found first time Ashoka and Devam Priyadasi, both the words. So Maski in Raichur district, Karnataka. So you should know all these 4 names. Brahmagiri inscription in Karnataka, Gujjar inscriptions in Datia district, Madhya Pradesh, and Nettur inscriptions in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so on this inscription, Maski, Brahmagiri, Gujjar and Nettur, we find Ashoka's name. Okay, both Ashoka's name and sometimes even Devam Priyadasi. And along with that, I told you that Sri Lankan manuscript. On that manuscript also, we find the Ashoka's name. Then guys, most important is Kanganhalli relief sculpture. Okay, so this Kanganhalli relief sculpture inscription is very important because this inscription mentioned Ashoka's name as Ranyo Ashok or Raya Ashok. Raya is a word in South India, okay, generally used for King Ashok. Okay, so used for Raya is word for king, that is used in South languages mostly, along with the stone portrait of Ashoka. So let me show you this Kanganhalli relief sculpture inscription. So this is Kanganhalli relief inscription. So this Kanganhalli image only inscribed portrait of emperor encountered so far. So this Kanganhalli image only inscribed portrait of Emperor Ashoka that we have found. So there are many inscriptions at Kanganhalli. In one of the inscription, Ashoka is worshipping along with his son Mahendra and Sanghamitra Buddhapad. Buddha's impression of his feet are carved out on a rock, and Ashoka is shown to be worshipping with his family members Buddhapad. So there are many in Kanganhalli, but this one, remember this relief inscriptions where there is this Ashoka and he is wearing that crown kind of thing, and someone is holding chhatra, so representing he is a emperor. Okay, or ye jo Ashokan inscription hai guys, Ashoka is shown here. You see some words inscribed, and those words ka zoomed image I have tried to show it to you. But these words guys, okay, where it has been written, these words in Pali language using Brahmi script, they say Ranya Ashok or Raya Ashok. So this Kanganhalli image, and where Ashoka's portrait, now there are many portraits, but Ashoka's portrait with his name Ranya Ashok we find in Kanganhalli inscriptions. So remember that. So Kanganhalli relief sculpture inscription mention Ashoka as Ranya Ashok along with the stone portrait of Ashoka. And in Maski Rock Edicts, Ashoka is named in person and not by his usual title Devampiya. So all this mention Ashoka's name, but Maski mein Devampiya is not given, he is referred by name Ashok. And Kanganhalli inscription is very important where we find portrait of Ashoka with the name Ranya Ashok. So these few important facts you should know about those inscriptions. Uske baad, you don't have to remember there were so many inscriptions, which message is given on what inscription is impossible to remember, but you should at least remember guys, okay, 14 major rock edicts. Okay, so these 14 major rock edicts may 3-4 you should know. So one is 13th rock edict. This 13th rock edict guys gives us information about Ashoka's battle with Kalinga, and after this battle with Kalinga, after this war, Ashoka got converted to Buddhism. He accepted Buddhism. This information we get on 13th rock edict. So that number is very important because of considering its significance. Then Pillar Edict 8 gives a summary of his efforts to promote Dhamma within his kingdom. Okay, so to promote Dhamma within his kingdom, okay, whatever steps Ashoka has taken, okay, we come to know from the Edict 7. And then 12th rock edict talks about tolerance among different sects. That Buddhism, Jainism, Kapalika, there were many sects have been appeared by the Ashoka's time period, and no one should be mocking another religious people. Okay, so Pandit or priestly class, Buddhist monk, Jain monk, etc. No one should make any comments on them. No one should mock them, and there should be tolerance. And if you mock or create division in Sangha, etc., Hinayana people should not criticize Mahayana and so on, then you will be thrown out. Desh nikala diya jayega. That information or instructions are on Rock Edict 12, which gives us information about his policy or promotion of tolerance among different religious sects. So remember this Rock Edict 13, 7 and 12, and uske साथ Kanganhalli and Maski rock inscriptions. अब ये जो सारे inscriptions है guys, okay, you must have read that they are major or minor, and rock and pillar. And if you combine them, then we come across minor rock, minor pillar, major rock. And what is the difference in those inscriptions then? So edicts of Ashoka are divided into 4 categories. Minor rock guys deal with Ashoka's early reign. Okay, his early reign, and even minor pillar edicts deal with Ashoka's early reign. While later period mein major pillar edicts, okay, treat the end of Ashoka's reign. So remember, major pillar edicts, Ashoka's end period, and major rock edicts, okay, addresses Ashoka's vision of peaceful existence through Dhamma policy. So this is very important point, that major rock edicts talks about his Dhamma policy. We get a lot of information about his Dhamma policy. And guys, remember, Dhamma policy of Ashoka wasn't any promotion of Buddhist religion. His policy was of Dhamma was new policy of statecraft, new or very innovative instrument of statecraft that he has developed to deal with the complexities that has arisen, okay, out of this new sects emerging, and his empire has become extremely vast and hard to manage, and because of these religious differences, to reduce that, Ashoka invented this new policy. So it was very awesome instrument of statecraft that he has evolved to balance out or to create balance between the different groups. And so Dhamma policy is not Buddhist policy, remember, just basic point. And mostly, so all these pillars pay, Ashoka gives a message. So content of Ashoka's edicts includes variety of themes and messages. So what message Ashoka wants to give through all these inscriptions? So first, promotion of Buddhist principle. So yes, he promoted a lot of Buddhist ideas like tolerance, middle path, non-violence, Bhutadaya, etc. Then second, socio-ethical teachings. He gave respecting elders, etc. Then there should not be like how to manage, there should be tolerance among different religious groups, etc. So socio-ethical teachings also he promoted, respecting elders and so on. Then administrative instructions to provide for welfare of the people, provide healthcare, food facility, etc. So some inscription pay we get administrative instructions. Then promotion of Dhamma policy. Okay, so Dhamma policy was also we find on those inscriptions, and then reports on Ashoka's travel to the different parts of the empire are also recorded on those inscriptions, that Ashoka visited this region on this year and so on. So these 5 things are the major message that Ashoka wanted to give through his major minor rock pillar through all these inscriptions, that is Buddhist ideas, promotion of this Buddhist idea, socio-ethical teachings, promotion of Dhamma, okay, then administrative instructions and reports on Ashoka's travels. So these 5 points or ideas that Ashoka wanted to promote. Then guys, next important inscription is Hatim Gumpa inscription. Now this Hatim Gumpa inscription guys of King Kharvela is very important, because that's the only source of information about Cheti or Chedi dynasty, or also known as Chetavams. Now this Odisha part or that time Kalinga region, okay, initially it was ruled by Kalinga tribes. It was mentioned in Puranas and other literature that this region was ruled by people of Kalinga tribes. Later on, this region was occupied for some time period by Nanda dynasty, Mahapadmananda or Ekarat his name was. So this Nanda dynasty king shortly ruled Kalinga, but later on Mauryans, when occupied or deposed Nanda dynasty, Chandragupta Maurya, when deposed Dhananand, okay, this region again got autonomy and become independent. Later on, Chandragupta, I don't know about Chandragupta, but his son Bimbisar tried to occupy this Kalinga, but he failed, and later on Ashoka occupied the Kalinga. And for a long part, then later on this Kalinga region remained the part of Ashoka's empire. But when later on Mauryan empire collapsed, okay, this region again got autonomy, and it was ruled by the people of Chedi or Cheti dynasty, and their third king was King Kharvela. Now this about this king and his rule, okay, all this information we came to know from this inscriptions at Hatim Gumpa, and that's why these Hatim Gumpa inscriptions are very important to know this part of the Indian history or Kalinga's history. So this is the image of that Hatim Gumpa inscription in those caves at one location we find this inscription. Now a lot of lines are there, but most of these lines are not properly legible now, but still we managed to decipher a lot of this inscription. So Hatim Gumpa inscription guys in the Udaygiri hills near Bhubaneswar in Odisha gives us this information about this part of history, and it is written in Prakrit language using Brahmi script, as like Ashokan inscriptions. Language is Prakrit or Magdi Prakrit, but I don't know whether Magdi Prakrit or not, and in Brahmi script, and there are 17 lines. Who composed it? That's doubtful, but it is our King Kharvela. 17 lines inscription, but only 4 are legible. Okay. Now the Chedi or Cheti dynasty rose in Kalinga in the 1st century BCE after fall of Mauryan Empire, and when Mauryan collapsed, they lost the control over Odisha region, Kalinga region. And Hathimumpa inscription talks about this part. Now this Chedi dynasty, guys, was also known as Chet or Chetavamsh, or also known as Mahamegavahan dynasty. So this name is very important about that dynasty, Mahamegavahan dynasty, Cheti or Chedi dynasty. And their most important king, third king, was this Kharvela. Now guys, this inscription was only inscription that gives us information about that period of the history, was engraved by King Kharvela, who was the third Cheti king. And this inscription is the main source of information about Kalinga ruler Kharvela, and it records Kharvela's life until 38th year, including 13 years of his reign. So his 38 years of life, and especially when he became king, okay, till 30 years of his rule, okay, are recorded in the history of this Hathimumpa inscriptions. Now King Kharvela, guys, followed Jainism. Now he followed Jainism. How we know? Again from this inscriptions, because now this part of history is very important. Remember, inscription contain Jaina religious symbols. Okay, it begins with salutation to the arhats and to all the siddhas. Okay, so inscription contain Jaina religious symbols. So ye Hathimumpa inscription pe we have a lot of Jain religious symbols. Okay, and that shows King Kharvela is follower of Jainism. And again, this line, it begins with salutation to arhat and to all the Siddha Purush. So Jainism mein those who conquered all his desire is called Jina or Tirthankar or Arhat. Arhat means destroyer of enemies, enemy, that is internal enemies. So Arhat, and one who destroys his internal enemies, okay, and achieves Kaivalya Gyan, okay, becomes Siddha Purush or Kevali. So this Siddhas. So on this inscription there are salutations that in beginning, when we write any book, guys, तो book के beginning में when we say कि मैं ये किताब इसको अर्पण करता हूँ और इसको इसके को अर्पण कर रहा हूँ, या we show the we write letters of thanking someone. Like if I write a letter, then I am thanking my parents or so on for their support and so on. So like that, salutations. So this Hathimumpa inscriptions में generally most of the places में कोई book लिखी गई या anything is written, salutations are given especially to the god Ganpati. Okay, first he salutation performed to him, या other Hindu gods and goddesses. But यहाँ पे salutation is to Jaina Tirthankars or Arhats or Siddha Purush. So that shows Kharvela must be following Jainism, very ardent follower of Jainism. And just to relate you guys, or just to give you one more fact or prelim pointers, there was one king in medieval time period, Harshavardhan of Pushyabhuti dynasty. Now there are many inscriptions of Harshavardhan also, Banskera, Sonepat, Madhuban plate inscriptions. Banskera inscription have sign of Harsha. Okay, so this Harshavardhan, guys, this king has written many books, or especially 3 books are important. Okay, Priyadarshika, Nagananda and Ratnavali. And in that book, Nagananda, this book is about Buddhist monk Jimutvahan. His life story is given in that book. Or that book, guys, Nagananda का जो story है, or it's not book actually, sorry, these are dramas. और ये जो dramas है, Priyadarshika, Ratnavali and Nagananda, these dramas में जो पहले before starting a drama, when we recite some beginning के जो lines होते हैं that we offer to some god to praise him, this is the first drama जहाँ पे beginning part में salutations are offered to the Gautam Buddha. Okay, and that shows that that's the only drama or first drama we can say. So remember that part of history also, Harshavardhan and this Kharvela king. And remember both these kings through this similar fact that Kharvela offered salutations, or it begins with salutations to Jaina Tirthankars, while Nagananda drama may Harshavardhan offered salutations to the Buddhist to Gautam Buddha. Okay, generally we find these salutations offered to Ganapati, God Ganapati, or other Vishnu, Mahesh, or Durga, goddesses, etc. Okay, so this book of Harshavardhan, Nagananda, and it is the story about Buddhist monk. That drama is a story or a drama about Buddhist monk Jimutvahan. So remember that, I will discuss that part separately. Then guys, this Hatim Gumpa inscription, I told you, not only tell this information about Kharavela king, but they also tells us about the part of history that I told you about Kalinga's story, that it was ruled by Kalinga tribes and then Nanda occupied it, and from Nanda, okay, Mauryan came, and this part of the history was described by him. So guys, Hatim Gumpa inscription of Kharavela of Kalinga refers to conquest of Kalinga by Nandas, that is Mahanandin or Mahapadma or Ekarat. Okay, so he was the king of Nanda dynasty before Dhananand. Dhananand was deposed by Chandragupta Maurya. So before that, this Mahanandin or Mahapadmananda or Ekarat, also he is known as, he attacked Kalinga, occupied, but for a very short period, because after his death, Dhananand came to power and was deposed by Chandragupta Maurya, and Kalinga again got the independence. Now, is this inscription also talk about King Kharavela's feat of bringing back the Jain image which was taken by Nanda Empire. Now when this Mahapadmananda attacked Kalinga, occupied it, that time he took one Jaina image, Jain idol with him to Patliputra or some other part. And so when later on Dhananand Jake, Mauryan Empire came, later on Ashok attacked Kalinga, occupied Kalinga, and later on after Mauryan collapse, when the Chedi dynasty came, King Kharavela was ruling, he must have attacked again this Magad, and he must have won the Magad, and he brought that Jain idol, okay, back to the this Kalinga or their capital. And this is also mentioned on this inscription, and this is very important inscriptions about the Cheti dynasty, which also gives information about Nanda and Mauryan dynasty. So remember this Hatim Gumpa inscription. Now guys, next important inscription is Naneghat inscription. Now guys, this Naneghat, and there is one more Nashik inscriptions. Okay, so Naneghat and Nashik inscriptions these inscriptions belong to Satavahana period, and in Nashik you have inscriptions of two kings of Satavahana dynasty as well as Kshatrap dynasty or Kshatrap king Nanpana. So this Kshatrap king and their families inscriptions are also at the Nashik. So this shows that these western Kshatraps for a significant amount of time had controlled the western Maharashtra, or had control over the Deccan, Maharashtra, Nashik and those regions of Maharashtra. And there were battles between these western Kshatraps and Satavahanas, and these stories mostly are recorded in this Naneghat and Nashik inscriptions. Now Naneghat are earliest inscription, Nashik inscriptions come later. So ye jo Naneghat inscriptions guys, these Naneghat inscriptions, to understand them you need to know the chronology of Satavahana kings. So first Satavahana king was Satkarni I. Actually before him also there were founder, those kings were there, but Satkarni I was important, and he is known as Lord Dakshinapath. Okay, so this Lord Dakshinapath or Satkarni I, this Naneghat inscription was belongs to him. Then Satkarni I's son is Satkarni II. Now in Sanchi Stupa in Madhya Pradesh there are gateways. Southern gateway of this Sanchi Stupa, remaining gateways were added by Shunga Emperor Pushyamitra Shunga, but southern gateway of this Sanchika Stupa was added by Satavahana kings. And that western gateway ka construction, okay, is dedicated to King Satkarni II. So Satkarni I's son, Satkarni II, and then comes Satkarni II's son, Gautamiputra Satkarni. And this Gautamiputra Satkarni guys also have his inscriptions which are recorded at Nashik. So Nashik inscription belong to Gautamiputra Satkarni. So remember these three important kings: Satkarni I, his son Satkarni II, his son Gautamiputra Satkarni. So Naneghat inscription belong to Satkarni I, Sanchika Stupa gateway Satkarni II, and Nashik inscriptions. There are multiple inscriptions in which, okay, one inscription belongs to Gautamiputra Satkarni. Along with that there are other inscription of Kshatrap kings. Okay, so this is this Naneghat inscriptions image. So it is located in Nashik. It is written in Brahmi script, and this belong to, as I told you, this Satkarni I. Okay, and he occupied huge region in South India, and that's why he took a title Lord Dakshinapath, and this title is written on those inscription. It refers to Satkarni I. So Naneghat inscription on a rock cut cave in Naneghat or Maharashtra, India. Okay, so inscription is attributed to Queen Nayanika or Naganika. So Satkarni I's wife Nayanika or Naganika, she created those inscriptions. So inscriptions were composed and written or got written by Nainika or Nagnika of the Satvana dynasty and dated around 70 to 60 BC, Satkari I's time period. Okay, inscription is written in Prakrit and Brahmi script. So same like Ashokan inscriptions, Brahmi script, Prakrit language is used, and include details about the queen's life and sacrificial rituals. So queen's life, sacrificial rituals she used to do, everything has been written in those Nanighat inscriptions. And inscription also mentions reigning king Satkarni I. So this is very important. The ruling king, reigning king Satkarni I, and his probable father Simmuk. Okay, and this Simmuk is said to be the founder of Satvana dynasty. Okay, so this Nanighat inscription are about Satkarni I, and also Satkarni I, whose probable father is Simmuk, and his son Vedishri. Or there might be multiple sons. So this Vedishri and Satkarni II, both are same or not, I can't say. Satkarni I is described as brave warrior and the lord of Dakshinpat or Deccan. That means Satkarni I was a great king. He occupied large part of the empire, Deccan, from Maharashtra up to Andhra, Karnataka region, and that's why he is called Lord Dakshinpat. But then there is interesting thing. Later on, okay, we find lot of coins and inscriptions of Western Kshatrap kings in Maharashtra, especially Nashik mein. And so maybe after Satkarni I, okay, the Satavahanas got reduced in their power. They got defeated by Western Kshatraps. Okay, but later on, after Satkarni II, when his son Gautamiputra Satkarni came to power, he totally finished and destroyed the Western Kshatraps. Okay, he finished their empire totally. And so Gautamiputra Satkarni is very brave, powerful king whose inscription is in Nashik. I will discuss separately now. So this shows that for a time period Maharashtra was under control of Western Kshatrap kings, and later on Gautamiputra Satkarni thoroughly defeated and finished their lineage, their empire, totally destroyed them. So he is also called destroyer of Yavanas or destroyer of Sakas. Okay, Shaka Kshatrap kings. So after annexing Godavari Valley, he assumed the title Lord Dakshinapat. So Satkarni occupied Godavari Valley, right to the other end of Maharashtra, towards eastern side. So he reached up to that Godavari Valley, occupied that entire region from Nashik to Godavari Valley, and so his name Lord Dakshinapat, we find this name in this inscriptions at Nanighat. Okay, so that's a small inscription. Uske baad another important inscription, not as such important inscription, but you should know the name words inscribed on this inscription from Satvana dynasty. That is this southern gateway of Sanchi Stupa. Now this southern gateway of Sanchi Stupa, guys, okay, one of the important gateway. Uske back side में, okay, if you ever go to Sanchi, तो ये जो when you enter now Sanchi के स्तूपा को, तो उसके back end में you get this gateway of Sanchi Stupa. You have to go around the Sanchi Stup on other end पे. इसी के side में you have one Ashokan pillar. Okay, यहाँ left में you will find the Ashokan pillar. और आगे ये जो there is this building के जो pillars हैं, they were constructed by Harshavardhan. Later on they were added by Harshavardhan. So this is the southern gateway. और ये gateway पे, guys, okay, on this upper segment pillar there are words inscribed. There are inscriptions mentioned. जिसका zoomed image I have shown here. Okay, so here on that plate इसका zoomed version है ये. Okay, on stupas these words are inscribed, and these some words which are inscribed, guys, see the word what they are saying. They won't be visible to you because even zoomed image में I couldn't find properly zoomed image, but the word on that gateway says, gift of Ananda, the son of Vashishti, the foreman of the artisans of the Rajan Sri Satkarni. So this is about Satkarni II. So gift of Ananda, the son of Vashiti, the foreman of the artisans of the Rajan Sri Satkarni. So this they say was constructed, dated, and this Satkarni is Satkarni II. So remember about Satvana's second king, or not second king, but Satkarni II. Then comes the most important inscriptions, Nashik inscriptions. Of Nashik inscriptions में there are a lot of photographs of inscriptions, but then you will get confused which one, because there are also Kshatrap kings inscriptions there. So but just to help you remember this Gautamiputra Satkarni, there was one movie from Andhra. Okay, so for Telugu film industry about the Gautamiputra Satkarni. So because Satavahanas are also called Andhras. Okay, so Andhra Pradesh or Amravati was also their seat of power along with Paitan, Pratishthan in Maharashtra. And so there was movie, and this was the Gautamiputra Satkarni's character he played, and he fought against Western Kshatriyas, one of the branch of Shaka kings who were ruling north of Arabian Ocean, अभी का जो पाकिस्तान वगैरह अफगानिस्तान का जो southern part है, in that region. And that Western Kshatriya continuously attacked Gujarat, Maharashtra. They have even occupied it for a significant time, and their king was Nahanpana. These guys, he is shown to be foreigner because Shakas were Westerner. So he was shown to be this foreigner. So this Nahanpana, and he was defeated by Gautamiputra Satkarni. In all that battle ka and information about this Gautamiputra Satkarni we get from Nashik inscriptions. So these are important inscriptions. So guys, 3 viharas at Nashik carry inscriptions of Nahapana, Western Kshatriya, and Gautamiputra Satkarni. So in Nashik, I told you, you find both Nahapana and Gautamiputra Satkarni's inscriptions. We will be focusing on Gautamiputra Satkarni's inscription. So in a Nashik Prashasti inscription, so Prashasti means what do you call praising someone. Okay, so that's why they are called Prashasti inscription. So Nashik Prashasti inscription of his mother Gautamiputra Balashri, and he is described as the destroyer of the Shakas. So these Nashik inscriptions were written, guys, or carved out not by Gautamiputra Satkarni, carved out during his son's time period. Okay, so it was carved out during Gautamiputra Satkarni's son's time period, but that task was completed, executed, or lines were composed by Gautamiputra Satkarni's wife, that is Gautami Balashri. So remember that it was composed by Gautami Balashri, she got it executed, those inscription, but Gautamiputra Satkarni wasn't alive then. They were created, or inscriptions were written during his son's time period. So I will explain that part aage jaake, it's important point. So, and in those inscription, Nashik inscription mein, Gautamiputra Satkarni was praised a lot, and that's why it is called Prashasti inscription. And so what it says, he described as destroyer of Shakas, king of the kings, and destroyer of Shakas means destroyer of Nahapana, and king of kings, Pallavas and Yavanas. Okay, so Pallavas, Yavanas, destroyer, king of kings, Yavan, that is Greeks, the Scythians, and as the uprooter of Kshahartas, he totally uprooted, finished the Kshatrap dynasty, their lineage. So uprooter of Kshahartas and the restorer of the glory of Satavahanas. So restorer of glory of Satavahana means Satavahana must have lost their glory. So I told you Satkarni 1 controlled Nashik to Godavari Valley, but during Satkarni's 2's time period, somewhere in the gap, Nahapana has occupied Nashik, and that was again reoccupied, and Gautamiputra Satkarni defeated this time, not only defeated Nahapana, pushed him out, but even destroyed their complete lineage, family, and that Kshatrap, Western Kshatrap dynasty. So it is the only posthumous Prashasti. Posthumous means written after his death. Posthumous Prashasti of this age, and is unique as it is being engraved by the mother of Gautamiputra in the reign of his son. Okay, so this posthumous Prashasti, that is very important part. After his death, this Prashasti was created. Okay, so remember basic this part. So these inscriptions may, I told you, information is destruction of Kshatrap dynasty. So defeating the Shatru Sangha. Shatru Sangha means these Kshatrap guys came to attack Gautamiputra Satkarni by mixing or bringing all their family, feudal lords, everyone together. They created a big alliance, and that entire alliance of Kshatrapa dynasty was defeated by Gautamiputra Satkarni. So defeating the Shatru Sangha or enemy alliances built by Kshatrap king Nahapana, the inscription is significant because it provides conclusive evidence of Gautamiputra's victory over Nahapana. Okay, so they give clear-cut conclusive evidence of defeating Gautamiputra Satkarni, defeating Kshatrap king Nahapana and his entire alliance, Shatru Sangha. It also provides detailed account of the Satavahana dynasty and mentions the king titles and regions he conquered. and it also gives complete like it refers to the past and gives the important names of the kings of Satavahana dynasty and the region they occupy. And the inscription also provides first idea of territorial extent of the Satavahana kingdom. And Satavahana kingdom का region का expansion, so dynasty का information, region का expansion under Gautamiputra Satkarni, territorial limit, everything we come to know. And we also come to know important point that he defeated Nahapana. Now guys, this Gautamiputra Satkarni के बारे में there is one more inscription, that is Karle inscription. So near Pune, okay, there is a Karle Buddhist caves. And on that Karle caves, there is one inscription known as Karle inscription, in which it is only written that there is one village which has been given to Buddhist monk living in Karle for their maintenance and जो भी उनका expenditure है for that purpose. So Karle inscription mentions the grant of Karajika village near Pune in Maharashtra. So this Karajika village near Pune in Maharashtra has been given as a donation for the maintenance of this Karle caves. So Buddhist monk living there for their maintenance and maintenance of caves by Gautamiputra Satkarni. Okay, so it was Brahminical dynasty, but they also followed or supported Buddhism. Okay, this was also one evidence of that. So remember this Nashik and small Karle inscriptions. Then there was another important inscription known as Garud Pillar inscription. So this Garud Pillar inscription, guys, was written or created, okay, later on near Sanchi in Madhya Pradesh we have Vidisha, where Vidisha mein this Garud Pillar inscription is there. Okay, it was created by ambassador Heliodorus of Greek king Antiochus. So this Antiochus Greek king, whose ambassador Heliodorus, okay, he constructed Garud Pillar and dedicated it to the Lord Vishnu. And when he was in Vidisha, constructed that Garud Pillar, Vidisha was under control of Shunga dynasty, and Shunga dynasty ka king who was ruling that was a Bhagabhadra. So Bhagabhadra was Shunga king under whose control this Sanchi, Vidisha, all this region was. Though they were ruling Shunga dynasty from Patliputra, from that side, but Vidisha was also important seat of their power. And this Heliodorus ambassador was in Vidisha, where he constructed this Garud Pillar. Okay, so Greek ambassador Heliodorus became Vaishnavite and erected Garud Pillar at Besnagar. Now this pillar is commonly named after Heliodorus, who was an ambassador of the Indo-Greek king Antiochus from Takshashila. So Takshashila was under control of this Indo-Greeks, and their king was Antiochus, and this king's ambassador Heliodorus, who became Vaishnavite, has constructed this pillar, and he was sent to the Indian ruler Bhagabhadra's court at Vidisha, and Bhagabhadra was Shunga king. So pillar glorifies the Indian ruler Bhagabhadra the savior. So pillar पे वो जो Shunga king है Bhagabhadra, it lines were written about him. It also praises him. So Bhagabhadra was a Shunga emperor, and though the capital of the Shunga was at Patliputra, he was also known to have held court at Vidisha. So I told you Shunga emperor ruled from Patliputra, but they also had court at Vidisha, and this pillar was constructed at Vidisha by Heliodorus. And so dedication written in Brahmi script, again on this inscription also Brahmi script, inscribed on the pillar venerating Vasudev, Krishna, the Devadeva, the god of gods and the supreme deity. So this Garud pillar was dedicated to Lord Vishnu, and it refers God Vishnu as Devadeva, okay, that god of the gods. And so pillar is stambha. It is a straight stambha. So wherever you find this stambha, uska ek significance was that when you have stambha, that it is a axis. So pillar is stambha, which symbolizes joining earth, space and heaven, and is thought to connote the cosmic axis and expresses cosmic totality of the deity. So it represents cosmic axis or cosmic totality, that earth pervades heaven, earth, space, everywhere. Now see, in Buddhist architecture, you came across different architectural type, that is Chaitya, Vihar, Stupa. But then UPSC asked one odd question that time once, that what is Kutagra Shala? So guys, Kutagra Shala is a hut with the pointed roof. So hut with pointed roof is Kutagra Shala, where intellectual discussions used to take place among Buddhist monks. Okay, so Stupa mein they used to do worship. Okay, viharas for their residential purpose, etc. Okay, like that, Kutagar Shala mein intellectual debates used to take place among Buddhist monks, and it was a hut with pointed roof. This pointed roof again points towards heaven or space as a symbol to justify or symbolize this intellectual discussion. Same way, guys, Akbar also used to have intellectual discussions, and that place is called as Ibadat Khana. So at Fatehpur Sikri, where there is a Sheikh Salim Chisti's Dargah, there is this place called Ibadat Khana, where King Akbar used to have intellectual discussions with the people of different religious sects or heads of the different religions. So just remember those references. So this is the Garud pillar inscription. So the Garud standard of Vasudeva Krishna or Vishnu, the god of gods, was erected here by the devotee Heliodorus, son of Dion, a man of Takshila, sent by great king or Yona king, that is Indo-Greek, Yavanas, what they were called, Antialcidas, as ambassador to the king Kashiputra Bhagabhadra. So Bhagabhadra's mother's name was Kashiputra Bhagabhadra, the savior, son of the princess of the Banaras, in the 14th year of his reign. So savior son of the princess from Banaras. So ye jo line hai that he was savior son of the princess from Banaras. So why savior son, that I don't know, but his mother, that is Kashiputra, so his mother Kashi, she was princess from Banaras. Okay, and it was constructed in the 14th year of his reign. So this Garud pillar was constructed when this Kashiputra Bhagabhadra, the Sunga king was ruling, and 14 year for his rule has been completed. And he is called savior of what, that has not been mentioned, but he is said to be savior king. And this is this Garud pillar inscription, which is important pillar inscription of that time period. So guys, then next part about inscriptions. So not inscriptions as such, but one way of inscribing history on the stones. Okay, that part you should know, that I feel, and that is known as Nadukkal or Nadukal worship. That was originated in Sangam time period in Tamil Nadu. Now this Nadukkal or Nadukal worship is so famous, guys. This is that in Kannada language it is called VEERGAL, or Maharashtra it is called VEERGAL. So Veer means a warrior, and Gal is his story carved out on rocks. So remember this Nadukal or VEERGAL worship. Okay, so Nadukal or hero stone worship. Okay, so this is also known as hero stone worship, and this is important part of Tamilian history. So guys, during Sangam time period, okay, this is what we call VEERGALs. These are the VEERGALs from Maharashtra. They are the VEERGALs of my ancestors. Okay, so hero stones. So any member of my family who had died in the battle, okay, his story was carved out on the rocks, and these VEERGALs are worshipped, okay, like the gods. So this VEERGAL was one way to commemorate their history, or to write about their stories, etc. So this VEERGAL in my village in Maharashtra, okay, this is VEERGAL of a lady. So this lady, so this VEERGAL shows this warrior is fighting on a horseback, fighting with the invaders. Then he died in the battle. Then Apsaras are carrying him to the heaven, and finally he reached heaven. He reached Kailash, where he is worshipping Shiva in the form of Shivlinga. That is, he achieved the heaven. So this is how any warrior who died, okay, his VEERGALs are created. Now this VEERGAL is of a lady, if you see. So one of my ancestral lady who fought the battle and died, her story is also carved out on the rock, and this is called as hero stone worship, or Nadukal worship. Though it is practiced in Maharashtra, it is more prevalent in South India. It originated in Tamil Nadu, and Kannada it is also famous in Karnataka. And my family, which belong to one of the branch of Kadamba dynasty, and Kadamba dynasty originated in Karnataka. It was the first dynasty, indigenous dynasty, to use Kannada as a official language. And this Kadamba dynasty, guys, one of the branch, that is Kadambas of Halshi, to that branch my family belongs to. And so these are the VEERGALs of my ancestors. So guys, this primary deity of Sangam period was Sion or Murugan. So Sangam time period में in Tamil or Sangam literature we find one of the primary deities Murugan, Lord Murugan. But along with the worship of Lord Murugan, there are many references to the worship of Lord Murugan in Sangam period. There is also worship of this hero stones. Okay, so primary deity of Sangam period was Sion or Murugan, who is held as Tamil god, and the worship of Murugan has an ancient origin, and the festival relating to god Murugan was mentioned in the Sangam literature. Okay, and so hero stone or Nadukkal worship was significant in the Sangam period. So remember this tradition that started in Sangam period in Tamil Nadu, Nadukkal, Nadukal, and hero stone or VEERGAL in Kannada and Virakkal in Tamil are memorial stones erected in ancient times to honor heroes who died for a noble cause, especially protecting their region, their people from the invaders. And this is one of the important part of the history that you should know about. Then guys, the next inscription is Mehroli inscription, Mehroli iron inscription. So you must have heard about this tower of Chandragupta II Vikramaditya, which supposed to be, now there is doubt about among historians. Some say this was originally created or erected in Vidisha caves, and it was carried to Delhi by Iltutmish. But some disagree with that. Some say it was erected somewhere on the border of Bias river, and from there it was brought to Delhi by Tomar king Angapal II. So this is debatable part, so we will not go in detail of that. What is settled factually and that UPSC or state services can ask exam, I will discuss only that. So this Mehroli iron inscription guys, which is now at Mehroli in Qutub Minar complex, this iron pillar guys never rust because of the chemical composition that he has. Okay, अब ये जो iron pillar है, first of all, how we come to know that it is of Chandragupta II Vikramaditya? Because there was Samudragupta and there was Chandragupta I also. So guys, in Chandragupta II, when he issued some coins, Chandragupta II Vikramaditya, on many coins he referred himself as only Chandra. And these inscriptions also refer, okay, the king by the word Chandra. Okay, so Chandragupta II Vikramaditya used his names in a short form on the coin as calling only Chandra. So based on this, they say that it's not Chandragupta I. This was erected in memory of Chandragupta II Vikramaditya. Okay, it was again written in this Brahmi script. So this Mehroli iron inscription. So language is Sanskrit because it was Gupta period. So Gupta period was extremely Brahminical dynasty it was, and so obviously whatever inscription they wrote, they were in Sanskrit, Chast Sanskrit, pure Sanskrit language using Brahmi script. Even Allahabad pillar inscription of Samudragupta were also in the same language. Okay, so script of early Gupta and parent of early Nagari script. So they are said to be written using Sanskrit language. So, sorry, I said Brahmi script. No, Sanskrit language and Nagari script. Okay, so this is also considered as early Gupta period script or Nagari script, and it contains 3 shlokas. Now all 3 shlokas का जो information है, it is important. It gives you us detailed history about the this Gupta empire. So Mehroli inscription praises the Gupta emperor Chandragupta Vikramaditya's achievement, and this inscription is called hagiographic. Hagiographic means guys जहाँ पे you find lot of exaggeration, प्रशस्ति and exaggeration. So थोड़ा history से बढ़ के ज़्यादा pompous, बढ़ा चढ़ा के it is written about the king. Especially Allahabad pillar inscription guys, they are extremely hagiographic, बहुत exaggerated that Samudragupta's horse has drank water of 3 oceans and so on. So little bit exaggeration obviously will always be there, but yes, but they provide good information about Gupta period. So this is hagiographic, excessively flattering inscription that praises Chandra's conquest and then his devotion to the feet of Vishnu. Okay, he was a great Vishnu worshipper, that also we come to know from these inscriptions. And the short name Chandra, I told you, is also inscribed on the gold coins of Chandragupta II. So Chandragupta II's gold coins also carry the name Chandra, and this inscription also carries the name Chandra, and so it is said to be belonging to Chandragupta II Vikramaditya. Now remember guys, this Chandra word, okay, this Chandragupta Vikramaditya's gold coin. So we all know that Gupta period is considered as a golden age. But guys, okay, though it was called golden age in matters of science, art, architecture, literature, metallurgy, the kind of pillar they created which hasn't rusted yet, corroded yet. So obviously in art, architecture, literature, science, metallurgy, it was a golden period. But actually in political, social and economic matters, it wasn't golden, especially economic, social matters. Untouchability in most heinous form originated in Gupta period. Sati practice first time started in Gupta period. Chandala's increase in population during Gupta period. Economy was also disintegrating. Economy was very weak. And that's why, okay, even feudalism case sign that giving grants, land grants, this technique of giving land grants also started during Gupta period. So then they issued gold coins. So this is the logic, guys. They issued gold coins. So only Gupta period's gold coins are available, not copper, silver, bronze coins. So in short, economy mein there was only 2000 rupees note. No 1500, 10, 20, 50 paisa, 1 rupaya. So only economy is working for super rich people. Okay, normal trade wasn't, there wasn't coins, so normal trade decline can be observed. So Gupta period they issued gold coins doesn't mean it was golden period. Rather it was the opposite. Everything was horrible socially, economically during their period. Then first slok state Chandra as a master of 7 advantages. So in first slok he is said to be master of 7 advantages. So these 7 advantages or 7 areas that he conquered. So these are the 7 rivers, Sapta Sindhu. Okay. So first slok says Chandragupta II Vikramaditya occupied Sapta Sindhu region. Then recites his victory over the Vangas and Vahalikas. Now remember these words you need to know from those inscriptions. Don't ignore them. Because UPSC nowadays ask or many state civil services only ask straightforward question. What do you understand by the term Nadu? What do you understand by the term Ghatika? What do you understand they will ask by the term Vangas? Okay. So Vangas is a Eastern Indian subcontinent. So Eastern Indian subcontinent that came to be what's called Vanga, and Vahalikas means Western Indian subcontinent. So he has occupied Sapta Sindhu. Okay, that's 7 advantages. Then Vangas, that is Eastern Indian subcontinent, and Vahalikas, Western Indian subcontinent. And the sacred respect for him in the lands touched by the southern seas. And even he went south, defeated Western Kshatrap, and his borders in south reached even Arabian coast. Some part of Maharashtra he occupied, and that's why he is called that that the sacred respect for him in the lands touched by southern sea. So even in South India he was respected for the and he occupied that region. Then it also praises him for defeating the Vakatakas in a battle that spanned Sindhu's 7 mouths. Okay, so remember this battle. He is also praised in this first slok for defeating Vakatakas. Okay, battle that spanned Sindhu's 7 mouths. Now remember. So these 7 advantages, this word Sapta Sindhu, that he occupied that region after defeating Vakatakas, and that is also mentioned in this first shlok. Then second shlok describes his valor, the vastness of the Chandra's empire. Second shlok mein it describes how vast his empire was. So first isme which people he defeated, second inscription mein or shlok mein area or territorial limit. Third is very important. It gives added information, and this translation confirmed that the third shlok mentions Hindu god Vishnu and suggests this Stamba pillar had a Garud above it in a manner similar to some Garud Stamba in early Vaishnavite temples that have survived into the modern age. So third shlok mein it mentions that ये जो pillar है that has been erected has a Garud on a top. जैसे अशोका के इस पे lion capital था pillars पे, it has Garud, and Garud pillars were very famous during that time period. Okay, base Nagar ka Garud pillar that I told you already in this lecture. So this Garud guys was a symbol or emblem of the Gupta period, and this now Garud ka jo top hai it is not there on this pillar now. It must have destroyed, but this shlok says that it has Garud. This suggests that this stamba or pillar had Garud above it in a manner similar to some Garud stamba in early Vaishnavite temples that have survived into modern age. So this verse also mentions place where the pillar was installed, namely Vishnu Padgiri. Or isi shlok mein it has been mentioned that this pillar was erected at place known as Vishnupadgiri. So this Vishnupadgiri is which location, that is still debatable. Some say Vidisha and some say region near Bias river. So that's doubtful part, but it says, inscription says it was Vishnupadgiri where it was erected first. And it is thought to have had the emblem of the mythical bird Garud, the Gupta symbol at the top, but it is now missing. Okay, so it was, inscription also says that it has Garud emblem of the Guptas at the top. So Gupta emperors ka national emblem or unke kingdom ka emblem was that Garud, that we also come to know from these inscriptions. So this Mehroli iron inscriptions, guys, were quite important. Then next were आपका Allahabad pillar inscriptions. Now ये जो Allahabad pillar inscriptions है, guys, it contain inscriptions of 3 time period of 3 kings. Once this Allahabad pillar was originally Ashokan pillar. Okay, and this Ashokan pillar also has Ashoka's inscription written in Prakrit language using Brahmi script. On same pillar later on, okay, Samudragupta wrote, okay, using Sanskrit language and Nagari script. Okay, he wrote his own inscription. So not Samudragupta, his court poet Harisen wrote it. And later on, okay, Jahangir's information about Mughal king Jahangir, okay, is also inscribed on this pillar. Now we will be focusing in this lecture about Samudragupta's inscription on this Allahabad pillar. So Allahabad pillar inscription are also known as Prayag Prashasti. So Allahabad, as you know, where its original name was Prayag, and this Prayag Prashasti, guys. So Prayag is a confluence of Ganga, Jamuna and mythical Saraswati river, and this Prashasti, again, this was extremely exaggerated inscription. It talks about Samudragupta very highly. Okay, he may not be that great king, but it talks lot, so it is called Prashasti. There was a lot of exaggeration. And on this inscription, guys, we came to know that he has occupied lot of part of Aryavarta, defeated all the enemies. That it is written that he had no enemies left, okay, to defeat him or to deal with. So he has no opponents. That's what court poet Harisen writes in those inscriptions. And also it says that Samudragupta was not only a great warrior, but he was also a great poet. And it tells or refers to Samudragupta as Kaviraj, that is king of the poets. So it is also written about the Samudragupta. So a lot of information about Samudragupta we get from this Allahabad pillar inscription. So Allahabad pillar inscription, also known as Prayag Prashasti, is a eulogy of the Gupta emperor. And eulogy means thoda exaggerated praise add karke the content has been written. So written in Sanskrit language and Brahmi script. Okay, so this is written in Sanskrit language and Brahmi script. This Chandragupta second Mehroli iron inscription were written in Sanskrit language using Nagari script. So that important point you should know. It was composed by Harisen, court poet of Samudragupta, and inscriptions are written on Ashokan pillar brought from Kaushambi by Samudragupta in 200 AD. So it was originally Ashokan pillar which was brought from Kaushambi to Prayag by Samudragupta, and on the same pillar his inscriptions have been carved out. Okay, so inscription mentions Samudragupta defeating 9 rulers of Aryavarta, 12 kings in south. So 9 kings of Aryavarta means North India, above India, and Satpuras and between Himalaya, that region, Aryavarta. There he defeated 9 kings. Then in South India, he is said to have defeated 12 kings in South India and reduced all Atavika. Now remember this Atavika states to vassalage. So this Atavika, this word very important from this inscription we come to know about this word. This word Atavika means forest kingdoms. So maybe tribal logon ke jo kingdoms the. Okay, so this inscription gives us, guys, a clear idea politically that who was ruling North India during Samudragupta's time period or just before his time period, whom he defeated. Even some names of the kings were also there, and there are mention of even tribal kingdoms in this inscription. So it gives very good information about the North Indian polity. Then, guys, one of the important thing about Samudragupta is that he did Ashwamedh Yajna after defeating so many kings. Now before him we get the Ashwamedh Yajna's reference that it was done or performed by Pushyamitra Sunga, and after Pushyamitra Sunga Samudragupta is said to have performed this Ashwamedh Yajna. So this was such an important information Ashwamedh Yajna Samudragupta did, but nowhere on the inscription there was any mention of Ashwamedh Yajna. So maybe these inscriptions were completed before he performed Ashwamedh Yajna. So remember that no mention of Ashwamedh Yajna performed by Samudragupta is there in the inscription. But yes, he has completed this or performed Yajna, but the inscription doesn't have its mention. And this inscription one of the important is, it is written in Champu Kavya style. Now the Champu Kavya style, guys, remember this word. Champu Kavya means it is one style of Sanskrit poetry which is mixture of Gadya and Padya ka Mishran. So it is written in both verse and prose form. So verse and prose, Gadya Padya ka Mishran, that is called Champu Kavya style. It was very old Sanskrit style, Champu Kavya style, but was used in different books and of Sanskrit. And this inscription is of this style, which is written in prose and verses format. So remember, Allahabad pillar inscriptions have this Champu Kavya style. Then Harrison also referred to him as Kaviraj, that I told you, the great poet or king of the poets. But there is no mention that which books he wrote, or we don't have any record of any books. Like Harshavardhan, he wrote many books, Nagaranda, Priyadarshika, Ratnavali, etc. Inscription mentions the ancestors of the king, Samudragupta's ancestor and his title, and it was written that his mother, okay, that is Mahadevi Kumaradevi. Okay, so he was born to Chandragupta I and Mahadevi Kumaradevi, a princess of the Lichavis. And his mother belonged to Lichavi kingdom. She was princess of Lichavis, and therefore Samudragupta is referred to as Lichav Dauhitra, or grandson of Lichavis. So remember, Lichavi Dauhitra. This word talks, Lichavi Dauhitra means Lichavi's grandson, and Samudragupta was their grandson. So this information about his family also we get from these inscriptions. Now guys, next important part of the history or about inscription. It's not inscription but one manuscript, but this I think is a very important manuscript that we don't give so much of significance as a UPSC students, but you should know, because 2017 economic survey mentioned this manuscript known as Bakshali manuscript. So Bakshali is a place near Peshawar where this manuscript was found, and it is considered as oldest existing manuscript of ancient mathematics. Now this manuscript, guys, Bakshali manuscript, was carbon dated during 2017 by Oxford or Cambridge University, and they found that it was older than the Brahmagupta's time period. So Chandragupta II Vikramaditya has many people in his court like Kalidasa, Varamir, Aryabhatta, many were there, and there was Brahmagupta also, and so we credit Brahmagupta as an inventor of the zero. Aryabhatta was knew about zero, he knew about decimal system, but decimal system or zero ka first reference we get in Brahmagupta's book, that is Brahmasputa Siddhant. But this Bakshali manuscript is older than the Brahmagupta, okay, when it was carbon dated, we came to know about its time, and in this Bakshali manuscript there was first reference to the symbol of zero as a placeholder dot. Okay, so placeholder dot means what? See, 2.25. So 2.25 में जो dot है is the placeholder to denote these fractions. 2.25. It is not zero. It's a dot placeholder. Okay, so same this manuscript में. So it's a very big manuscript. I have given you one photograph. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right symbols, and this uses this zero as a placeholder dot. So Brahmagupta wrote text called Brahmasputa Siddhant, which is the first document to discuss zero as a number. Okay, but guys, the creation of zero as a number in its own right, which was evolved from placeholder dot symbol, found in the Bakshali manuscript found near Peshawar. And this Bakshali manuscript, that's why I told you, is very important, and it is perhaps the oldest extant manuscript in Indian mathematics. Okay, it's written in Sanskrit language using Sharda script. Now this Sharda script, guys, was the script that was prevalent in Pakistan side, Afghanistan side then. So it is called Sharda script. So it is written in Sanskrit language using Sharda script, and this Bakshali manuscript, you can Google more of its images and you will realize the significance of it. So just remember, this Bakshali manuscript is the first book that refers to zero as a placeholder dot symbol, and from this placeholder dot symbol it evolved to be a 0 of a decimal system. So that's about Bakshali manuscript. So guys, there are many more inscriptions. I can't teach all those inscriptions to you in this one lecture. There are many such important facts other than inscriptions. Okay, so Toranam of Kakatiyas, etc. There are then symbols or coins issued by Kakatiyas, where there are some symbolism. So there are a lot of parts, very interesting part about Indian history, about inscriptions. Same way there are very interesting books that you should know about. I will record one lecture on those books also, but I can't go on explaining all these inscriptions in one lecture. I have already taken this 1 hour lecture. Okay, so but lot of these inscriptions in very much detail I will be discussing in my history classes on my Darshanik IAS app. So do check out my Darshanik IAS app. Soon I will be launching comprehensive courses for ancient, medieval, modern India, world history, or all parts, and they will be made at very cost effective rate available to you. So take advantage of all these courses and you won't need read any other content, and I will be explaining all this history ka concept and mysteries in very much detail. So do check out my app, and on my app, as I told you, I teach for prelims history and for mains essay and ethics papers. So I have uploaded my comprehensive ethics course of 150 hours, and lot of videos I have uploaded on my YouTube channel regarding essay ethics. Do check them out. Check my prelim shorts also, and you will get very comprehensive idea about my teaching style and quality of the content. And so do enroll for my essay ethics courses also on my Darshanik IAS app. You can download it from Google Play and App Store. So I will just continue and will give you overview of some inscriptions. So guys, there are many inscriptions about King Harshavardhan of Pushyabhuti dynasty or Vardhan dynasty. And about this Harshavardhan, guys, okay, there are inscriptions like Sonpat inscription, Madhupan plate inscription. One is, okay, this inscription known as Banskera inscription, and in this Banskera inscription we get a lot of information about Harsha, but it is more famous. This other information I will discuss in my app classes, but one of the important point is it has the signature of Harsha. Okay, so this is Banskera inscription, and in the end he has signed Swahasto Mama Maharajadhiraj Sri Harshasya. Okay, so this is the autograph of Pushyabhuti emperor. So ye jo hai, that is the autograph, and Pushyabhuti emperor Harshavardhan or Harsha as it appears in the Banskera inscriptions. And the signature in Sanskrit reads as Swahasto Mama Maharajadhiraj Sri Harsha, meaning by my own hand, Lord of the Kings, okay, Sri Harsha. So this is the signature of Harsha, and this is its translation, what it simply means. So this Banskera inscription is very important. Then there is one inscription, Megoti Jain temple inscription at Aihole. Now this inscription is also very important. It is there was a Chalukyan king Pulkeshin II, and this Pulkeshin II, okay, when he was ruling, Harshavardhan attacked his empire and Pulkeshin II defeated him. So this inscription gives us a lot of information about the Chalukyan king Pulkeshin II that I will discuss in detail on my app classes. But in this inscriptions, guys, the court poet Ravi Kirti, okay, mocks Harsha. This is actually ancient India ka example of what do you call trolling. So through this inscription, Harshavardhan, the king that we just saw, whose signature, he was trolled by Ravi Kirti, the court poet of Pulkeshin II. And he says in those lines, after Pulkeshin II, when he defeated Harshavardhan, he goes on saying, when Harshavardhan was defeated, he writes that Harsha is no longer Harsha. Means Harshavardhan has lost his happiness. And this trolling we find at Aihole. There are very awesome temples. Okay, and at the Aihole there is one Meguti Jain temple, and on the walls of those Jain temple there are words Harsha, no longer Harsha. Okay, so this Aihole inscriptions. Then guys, at Ajanta you have this cave painting, which is very important cave painting. Now this cave painting has been destroyed a little, or we have lost it. Okay, but it's recreated, and it looks like this. Okay, it's recreation. So in this recreation, okay, here is this king, Chalukyan king second, Pulkeshin II. Okay, and this Pulkeshin II is receiving the ambassador. You can see his hat and his people with that hat. So he is receiving ambassador of the Persian king Khusro. And this painting talks about this part of the history. So painting in the Ajanta caves shows the king Pulkesin II receiving the ambassador of Iran or Persia, King Khusro. So Khusro's ambassadors are being received by Pulkesin II at his empire. So remember this part of Ajanta inscriptions. Same way guys, there is one more inscription, Mandakpatu inscription. There are many more. Mandakpatu inscription. Now this Mandakpatu inscription guys, okay, was created by Pallava king Mahendra Vikram Varman. So guys, this Harshavardhan of Vardhan dynasty, then Pulkesin II of Chalukyas, Western Chalukyas, and Mahendra Vikram Varman of Pallava dynasty. All three were contemporary. Huan Sang, when visited India, he visited court of Harshavardhan, he visited court of Pulkesin II, and he visited court of Mahendra Vikram Varman also. Now Mahendra Vikram Varman guys, now see, cave architecture, rock pillars, everything was famous in North India then. But South India mein, this cave architecture was rare, especially deep south, Tamil Nadu mein. And this Mahendra Vikram Varman constructed one temple in the rock by cutting the caves. He created temple, and so he created temple without using brick, mortar, cement, anything, and that's why he was praised by people and called as Vichitra Chitta. That Chitta, whose mind is Vichitra, that he does something different, unique things. And so this Vichitra Chitta, so this is that Mandakpatu where he constructed this temple, and there are inscriptions which refer to him as Vichitra Chitta. There is lot more information about on this inscription that we will discuss in our app classes. So the inscription at Mandakpatu mentions Mahendra Varman I with numerous titles such as Vichitra Chitta, okay, curious minded. Then it also refers to him as Chitrakar Puli. Remember Chitrakar Puli, that is tiger among artists. So he was great artist, tiger among artists. Same was referred to Samudragupta by Hari Sen, okay, saying it Ravi Kaviraj. So he was also called Chitrakar Puli. And Chaityakari, that is temple builder, which shows his interest in art activities. And he built this such a temple without using brick, mortar, etc. And that's why he is called Vichitra Chitta from this Mandakpatu inscriptions. Then there is also one inscription at Veerbhadra temple inscription. So old Kannada inscription of Rashtrakuta emperor Amogh Varsha I at the Veerbhadra temple in Kumsi. So this is also one important inscription that gives information about Rashtrakutas and their important king, most important king of Rashtrakutas was Amogh Varsha I. और उसके बाद guys, this inscription is very important, with which I want to conclude. I will record separate class on this inscription alone because it will be of great importance from prelims perspective, because Prime Minister in one of his speeches referred to this inscription of Uttaramirur. Okay, so this is called Uttaramirur inscription. This inscription, okay, is written on the walls of Vaikunda Perumal temple. Okay, so on the wall of Vaikunda Perumal temple we find very detailed inscription known as Uttaramirur inscription. And Prime Minister of India, while giving one speech, he was talking about village autonomy, and there he referred this inscription of Imperial Cholas. So it was constructed by Imperial Cholas, and Imperial Cholas there was one movie, Ponniyin Selvan. You must have watched the movie. This Ponniyin Selvan, okay, Ponniyin is a Kaveri river, and Selvan is son, so son of Kaveri. And this Ponniyin Selvan movie was on the king of an Imperial Chola dynasty known as Rajaraja Chola. And so this Rajaraja Chola, you must be knowing, he was a great Imperial Chola king of that dynasty. And in his dynasty, his ancestor was Parantak I. That Parantak I of Imperial Chola dynasty built this temple, Vaikunda Perumal temple. And on the walls of this temple, okay, there was a clear cut inscription which talks about village autonomy and village governance, and how there are different committees to administer villages, and how these committees members are elected or appointed. And this shows that India to a great extent in ancient period enjoyed lot of village autonomy, or uska climax of village autonomy we see in the form of this inscription that were written during Imperial Chola time period. So I will record separate lectures, stay tuned for that, where I will discuss this in detail because it is important from prelims perspective, or even in mains they might ask you a question. And this inscription are known as Uttaramirur, They are written on walls of Vaikunta Perumal temple. So Uttaramerur in Kanchipuram district, on the walls has several inscriptions. The most famous one, which is referred to by Prime Minister of India, was created under the rule of Chola king Paranthakwan and details the method of self-governance in Indian villages. So this inscription gives us information about that self-governance in Indian villages, which is very important one. So do check that out in detail. So that's all for now, guys. Thanks for listening and stay tuned to my YouTube channel. Do check out my other lectures. Many lectures regarding strategy will be of extreme help, along with essay ethics lecture and many history related lecture and prelim shorts. Check them out. Do subscribe and share my channel and help me grow. And also check out my Darshanik IAS app. Okay, Darshanik by Akshay Kadam sir. And on that app, I have already recorded my ethics lectures, and soon essay lectures comprehensive course will be available at very low cost to you. So do take advantage of that classes and prepare well for your exam. And my classes for essay ethics and history lectures, guys, will be one-stop solution. You won't need anything else than those classes. So thanks for listening, guys, and stay tuned.